Story, thank you, and welcome to Columbia, South Carolina. It's a Saturday in the SEC, and it's already been wild and crazy. And today, a desperate Missouri team hits the road, looking to end an SEC losing streak and get back to a bowl. Well, this suddenly surging South Carolina squad comes into this game with momentum. How much fun is college football Saturday in the SEC? Wow, what a day already. Welcome, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Heisman winner Andre Ware. This is a South Carolina program that was just about left for dead. Then they turned it over to a freshman quarterback by the name of Jake Bentley. He has re-energized his fan base. He's re-energized the coaching staff, the team, the offense. They're scoring now.
I tell you what, when you turn the film on, you start to take a look at Jake Bentley, you can't help but get excited about what he brings to the table for South Carolina. The intelligence, scanning the field, going through his reads as a young guy, should be in his senior year of high school. He's accurate, staring down the blitz, delivering it for a touchdown. He's athletic. When things break down in the pocket, he can find a way to make plays with his legs. And then the passion is exactly what this South Carolina offense needed. It came at just the right time.
It's eerily reminiscent of what Missouri went through a year ago. But Jake Bentley has been an immediate impact player. They have scored on their opening drive at each of his two starts as South Carolina's quarterback. But a year ago, Drew Lock was the favored son. He was the answer to a program against a South Carolina team. He made his first ever start. He re-energized the team, and while expectations have fallen off, talent's still there.
I tell you what, he's actually playing better this year in his sophomore year than he was last year. And what he does best, he can stroke the ball down the field. Against Eastern Michigan, right here you see him, touchdown pass. Again, last week against Kentucky, right there, Demetrius Mason on the receiving end of that. That's what Drew Lock brings, and it could cause problems for South Carolina.
It's a high-voltage Missouri offense, averaging 79 plays per game. That leads Drew Lock to second in the conference in passing yardage. But as we go down to Cole Cubelic, Cole, it's not just the number of plays, it's the impact ones behind Drew Lock's arm.
Yeah, I agree, Tom. Pace and tempo are going to be big today for Missouri, but Travaris Robinson, the defensive coordinator for South Carolina, told us yesterday, we expect 10 to 13 deep shots in this football game, something that Missouri wants to do. You guys pointed it out earlier. They did it last week against Kentucky. However, South Carolina is the best team in the SEC defending balls through the air of 40 yards or more. They've only given up 4 on the season. If they're going to win this football game today, it could be because of deep balls passed by Drew Lock.
Missouri won the toss. The Tigers have elected to defer, so South Carolina under Jake Bentley will get first crack at it. What a scene here at Williams-Brice Stadium.
One of the best in all of college football right here as we witness it. Passionate fan base.
Turner Adams will get us started. A.J. Turner set to receive. No return for Turner and South Carolina. So here's a homegrown kid, Jake Bentley, whose dad was a high school quarterback before joining the staffs at first Auburn and then South Carolina. He was a ball boy for his dad's team. Multiple state championships there. He grew up around the game of football, and he has smarts that belie his age.
Yep, and how do you get him settled in as a young freshman quarterback? Look for him to throw a screen here, either to Brian Edwards or Deebo Samuel, to get this game started offensively with Jake Bentley.
Rico Dowdle is his tailback. Bentley took the sign from the sideline. The play clock at 5 now. Missouri shows pressure. They're going to run it on first down with Rico Dowdle, who's had a great couple of weeks. No gain on first down. We see South Carolina's starters.
Yeah, Deebo Samuel is a guy that has just come to life in this offense the last couple of weeks. He is a matchup problem for most defenses. Not a blazer, but he just finds ways to get himself open.
Last 3 games, 20 catches for Deebo Samuel after only 4 in the first 5. Going to throw it on 2nd and 10. Out to Dowdle. Another touch for the freshman from Asheville, North Carolina. wrestled down by Eric Beisel and company. Gain of 4 for this Missouri defense, which has been much maligned all season. Last year is one of the top defenses in college football.
Yeah, they've got a good young safety in Cam Hilton, who had arguably his best game against Kentucky last week. 10 tackles, a tackle for a loss, and 2 pass breakups. Had a couple of big-time hits in that game as well against the Kentucky Wildcats.
South Carolina's offense took a big boost last couple of weeks. They get it to Hayden Hurst to tie it in, and he can only make it to the 30, a gain of 1. So Missouri's defense stands up and will force the punt.
And that's where this game, I think, will lie. I think Missouri will be able to move the football offensively. Can they get enough from this defensive unit now with Barry Odom calling the signals defensively? Can they get enough, slow down a hot quarterback in Jake Bentley, find themselves in this game deep into the fourth quarter?
Sean Kelly, 8th in the nation with 51 punts. Not a good sign. He mishandled the snap, but gets it away to Jonathan Johnson. And Johnson returns a favor by muffing that. Little sloppy special teams play early. 44-yard punt, only 4 on the return for the freshman from Memphis. And here's the second-year starting quarterback, Drew Lock, making his 17th start today. Sophomore from Lee's Summit, Missouri. Last year against South Carolina, the first ever SEC game that featured 2 freshman starting quarterbacks. He was opposite Lorenzo Nunez for South Carolina. Locke and Missouri experienced their high point of the season last year by knocking off the Gamecocks in Como.
Yeah, 53% on the year. Certainly got to get that up, but he's taking care of the football. Only 6 interceptions to 18 touchdown passes.
Demetrius Mason on the fake jet sweep. They go to the tight end, Sean Colkin, on first down, and he takes it past midfield, a gain of 20.
Well, a big target right in the middle of the field. The play action holes, and once they get that first down, that's when Missouri likes to punch the gas.
They'll try to get a playoff within 7 seconds of the ball being spotted. Locke, quick hitter to the right side, trying to find a screen to Eric Laurent. The ball came loose. South Carolina wanting to return it, but they say incomplete. Chris Lamons, who's starting at safety, in on the play for South Carolina. Reminder, the Gamecocks without DJ Smith, their starting free safety, ejected for targeting in the Tennessee game. He'll be out here for the second half.
And you see Jonathan Johnson trying to throw the block out wide, and the other receiver underneath. Just got to catch it first.
Locke had to pull it back twice. He ends up picking up 5.
There's Johnson. He's very quick receiver inside. Coaches love to use him in their screen game and just to get him the ball in space and let him operate.
3rd down 5. Play action again. Locke has all day, and he fires too strong. A bullet through the hands of Sean Colkin.
There's still some of the inexperience that shows with Drew Lock. He's got Colkin wide open. Why would you need to throw it 100 miles an hour? Sometimes the off-speed pitch is just as effective. Right here, he comes into the second window. Just throw him a nice catchable ball. Put it between the 8 and the 0, and the drive continues. Young guys always want to show how strong, how fast they can throw a football. Not necessary.
Corey Fatoni's punt will go unfielded by South Carolina. They've had issues in their punt return team all season. 25-yard punt for Fatoni. Beautiful afternoon for football in Columbia, South Carolina. No score early. Jackie Bradley, all-star with the Red Sox. They won the American League East this year, and when he was playing for Ray Tanner, they won a pair of College World Series national championships, and he was the most outstanding player. Let's take a look at today's Stay Smart, Game Ready Keys to the Game, brought to you by Holiday Inn Express.
Hit on it a little bit for Missouri. They've got to improve defensively. They've allowed 42 points in their last 4 ball games. For South Carolina, hey, it's get Deebo Samuel, Brian Edwards the football, and then handle the Missouri tempo when they're on defense, because they will go fast.
Missouri bringing pressure again. Bentley getting out of the pocket and taking it straight forward before he took a hit from Cale Garrett. Home crowd wanted a flag. There is one.
There should be one. When you give yourself up, you've got to pull up as a defender. You can't even tap the quarterback once he gives himself up, and by that I mean going feet first.
Here's Ken Williamson. Oh, targeting added to that.
With targeting.
So that is big for a Missouri team, which is already without Michael Shearer. They're one of their leaders and starting linebackers, who was lost a couple of weeks ago to a torn ACL. And Barry Odom, former linebacker himself, cannot stand this because he knows what it means. There's, the question is crown of the helmet there, and crown of the helmet starts at the top of the face mask.
Yeah, I think the thing that's going to save Garrett here in this situation is that he didn't really follow through with it. He was just kind of a love tap. I think this one will be reversed and he'll be able to stay in the game. Now, had he launched or had he not shown that he was trying to pull up or gone down with Bentley, then I think it would have stood and he'd be ejected from this game. But I think
partner, I see it differently. I mean, I think the crown of the helmet and the rule is written in such a way that if you're going to come with the crown of the helmet on a defenseless player, quarterback is not defenseless when he's running, but when he gives himself up, he is defenseless. He is going into a feet-first slide. He is giving himself up. And if Cale Garrett doesn't lower his head and go with the crown of the helmet, I think he's still in the game. It still probably would have been a 15-yard
penalty. Well, the flag wouldn't have been thrown, but I get what you're saying, but I just think that as he's coming up or not really following through, that may save him in this instance. Here's the rule. Defenseless opponent with forcible contact. I just don't think it was forcible.
That's the magic word as far as this play is concerned.
Well, they went ahead and ejected him.
Yep. He's disqualified himself from the game. So Garrett out on the second series for this Missouri defense.
That's where the rule is black and white, and I think there should be some gray area. And I just don't feel like there was malicious intent by Cale Garrett in that situation to be ejected from this football game.
Freshman from Kearney, Missouri. The coaches rave about his football IQ, but Andre, right or wrong, that was not a smart play. You can't put yourself in that position to be judged.
Yeah, but it's something that I think he and certainly the Missouri Tigers going forward the rest of the afternoon will learn from. But you talk about adding insult to injury at a thin spot already.
So Eric Beisel will take over at linebacker for Missouri. They wanted to rotate both Garrett and Beisel in that spot. Beisel had a great game against Kentucky as Missouri showed more pressure from its linebackers and front line last week than they had all season when Barry Odom took over the defense.
Yeah, Beisel had 5 tackles against Kentucky, and 3 of those being for a loss. So that is an exceptional game for a player that a couple of weeks ago was getting limited reps.
Rico Dowdle in the backfield for South Carolina. Second possession for the Gamecocks and freshman quarterback Jake Bentley. Dowdle gets turned around, still manages to pick up 3 yards, and a big hit out of the secondary from T.J. Warren from Missouri, who came in as a cornerback, then was a safety, now a linebacker due to the attrition at that level.
Yeah, this was a guy that wasn't even on the radar a couple of weeks ago, and has stepped in and has moved from corner to linebacker. Done a nice job.
Bentley gives it up to Dowdle. Missouri much better against the run today than they were last week. Eric Beisel in there for a loss of 1. Head coach Will Muschamp will go against Florida next week, but first trying to get above 500 in conference play against Missouri today. And boy, he was a lot looser when we met with him yesterday than when we were in there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I went down the field and visited with him before the game. He's just always enjoy, no matter win, lose, or draw, visiting with Coach Muschamp the following week, and he delivered again yesterday.
Pressure again on 3rd and 8. Mizzou can't get to Bentley, and he gets it away for a South Carolina first down to Deebo Samuel.
Boy, it's as if there's no pass rush around this young man, Jake Bentley. Stood in there, everything flying around you. Look at all the pass rushers start to close in, pulls his arm down to the shoulder where you can't get a hand on the football, and then delivers a strike to Samuel.
2 tight ends on the field now for South Carolina. One of them, Hayden Hurst. They're trying to go that way, and it's incomplete, trying to find the former baseball standout.
Let's go back and take a look at the pocket presence of Jake Bentley. This is a young man that should be playing his senior year in high school. You see him pull the ball away from Marcel Frazier so he can't swat it down. Just nice, calm, composed, and accurate.
Is that simply intuitive?
That's just studying the game and being around it a long time and just some God-given gifts to play the position.
Looking for a screen here, and Brian Edwards, a talented freshman from up in Conway, South Carolina, able to pick up 5. Anthony Sherrills the stop for Missouri. Cole, what are you seeing down there?
I see this Missouri defensive front. They're running some stunts in games, but just giving some of them away. You saw the defensive end on the right side of the offensive line there, about a yard off the football, squeezed tight to the defensive tackle. An obvious twist that's coming early. This South Carolina offensive line saw everything under the sun from Tennessee defensive coordinator Bob Shoop last week. They're getting some games here early, Tom.
Tennessee brought pressure just about every play against South Carolina last week. Bentley goes to the 3-receiver side, and a falling grab made by Deebo Samuel. His second catch, that goes for 3.
And to your point, all of a sudden Missouri's trying to bring a little bit as well. Beisel coming in late from that linebacker spot, unable to get there. But when you have a young man like this, should be in high school, we keep hitting on that because it is a unique situation. But they're going to try to heat him up, make him uncomfortable, but he is a gym rat. He is prepared for every look that he faces during a game.
Will Muschamp decides to punt it away on 4th and 2 in plus territory. And so Sean Kelly will try to pin Missouri deep. Fair catch asked for and taken inside the 10 at the 8-yard line by Jonathan Johnson. 36-yard punt from Sean Kelly. Slow start to this one on a wild and crazy Saturday afternoon in college football. Again here in Columbia, South Carolina. Homecoming parade is on Friday afternoon. A Carolina tradition that starts at the intramural fields. Floats, motorcade, honor guests. And a theme this year, falling for Carolina. This Columbia Cup's on the line when these two programs meet. They first met in the Hall of Fame game back in 1979. Again, postseason in Shreveport in 05. And there have been some really close games between these two programs. A couple of thrillers 2 of the last 3 years. Here comes a blitz. Bring Lamons on it from the far side, and Demetrius Mason makes him pay. Lost the football. South Carolina's got it.
One of the things that Missouri couldn't have happen offensively was to turn the ball over. They improved last week in that area. And right here, Lamont, there's actually Stephen Montag, who comes in, gets a hand on the football, rakes it out of there. Clearly out. And then Lamons comes in. Chris Lamons with a fumble recovery.
And remember, Andre, how about the hustle by Lamons? He was the one coming on that corner blitz to get back into the play.
You got to have a motor wherever you play. You hear about that so much from defensive linemen, but whatever position you play, you got to play with passion.
So Muschamp deciding to punt, and it pays off. Rico Dowdle around the right side, and he picks up 9 on first down before Cam Hilton brings him down.
And this is what happens and starts to happen to a defense that's thin already. Then defensively, you turn the ball over, they're right back on the field. They start to wear down even faster.
Dowdle changes direction, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe Brandon Lee with the stop. One of the things I'm seeing with this Missouri defense, and I don't know that we saw it last week, the defensive line especially going to the wristbands to see the play. Barry Odom's tried to simplify a lot of things, including the signaling, so they can just get the play direct, but looks like they're almost a little bit late.
Anything just to get it in faster and allow them to play freely. The less you have to think, the more freely you can play as a player, no matter what position.
Third down 1. First down for Dowdle. Just a freshman, and he has been magnificent. A career-high 127 yards against Tennessee and a touchdown.
Yeah, you talk to Kurt Roper, the way he describes Dowdle is he runs through contact. Very talented player who missed some time earlier in the year with a sports hernia. He is 100% now, and the last couple of weeks been magnificent. 27 carries last week, 127 yards, and throwing a touchdown run.
Touchdowns in consecutive games for the freshman. Samuel in motion. He'll give it to him on the jet sweep. He's got the corner, and he's got the score. Touchdown, South Carolina after the turnover.
That's the guy we decided to highlight in the lineups, and there's a reason for our madness, a method to the madness. Just enough speed. They say he's not a burner, but I tell you what, he has football speed, and nobody, and I mean nobody on Missouri's defense was going to catch him on that play.
Elliott Fry attempting to tie the South Carolina school record for career points. He's only missed one extra point in his entire career. That was as a freshman, and he drills this one through the uprights. He's tied Colin Mackey, who played here in the late 80s, with 330 career points. Not bad for the senior from Frisco, Texas. A Missouri fumble opened the door for South Carolina. Tigers cough it up in Gamecock territory. Jake Bentley, Rico Dowdle, and Deebo Samuel cover the 20 yards for an early game.
You don't have to borrow them. You get them right here at the game.
Take them home with you.
That's right, all the way home.
Well, they had a great crowd last week against Tennessee. It was a big-time win for Will Muschamp and his program, and they're knocking on the door of bowl eligibility. Chance for a return for Alex Ross from Missouri. And he is cut down at the 13-yard line. Crazy day throughout all of college football, especially in the SEC. Here's Dari to tell us about it. With a pick six in the first quarter. Just a snapshot of how wild today is throughout the SEC.
Yeah, it really has been that way. And then you go back and all of a sudden the college football rankings come out. A&M number 4. They go down in Starkville.
First run of the day for Missouri. Marvin Zanders in at quarterback for the Tigers on this, their third possession. It's a gain of 6. Remember, they like to go to him as a change of pace. They just don't want to get out of the passing rhythm that Locke brings them.
Yeah, this is a change-up for them. You know he's coming in. They want to run when he comes in the game.
Locke in. He's pressured from the backside, and he can't get away from a blitzing Bryson Allen Williams.
One of their playmakers on the defensive side of the ball is a versatile player who can play inside linebacker and outside. Watch him here come, and he's going to get home. Nobody takes him. The back comes out or is releasing in the pattern as opposed to staying in for protection, and you're not going to get away from Bryson Allen Williams. Well, this allows you defensively to play downhill.
Damon Moore with his first catch of the game. Able to pick up 5, but Missouri will punt it away. DJ Wanham chased Moore out of bounds. Not that it's his fault, but it's the second consecutive week that Marvin Zanders has entered the game for Missouri, and the offense has gone backwards. Corey Fatoni to punt it away. Chris Lamont should give South Carolina great field position, but we've got a flag.
Oh, what it does, Tom, a sack like that puts you in bad field position. You're limited offensively to what you can do to attack.
South Carolina had 12 coming out of the huddle, so illegal formation there.
So then if you're South Carolina, the table switch. Now all of a sudden you become the attacker. You're not really playing. It's bad field position already, but you can really come after the quarterback once you get the sack that Bryson Allen Williams had. Now Will Muschamp is a little bit easier as a play caller. Both he and Travaris Robinson, the defensive coordinator, to call defensive looks when you got a team backed up that far.
Wow, Fatoni launches that one all the way down. We'll see where they mark it. They'll walk it up all the way to the 33-yard line. It's a 49-yard punt for the sophomore from Franklin, Tennessee.
You see, this is pretty good field position.
The South Carolina team, Andre, that's been riding a roller coaster this season. A Thursday night to start the year. Elliott Fry with a game winner on the road at Vandy. That win looks a lot more impressive this time of year than it did then. And then they lose 4 out of their next 5. They have a game moved back by Hurricane Matthew. And now with Jake Bentley after an off week as a starter, they've won 2 in a row. They're knocking on bowl eligibility's door.
Yeah, talking to Coach Muschamp before the game. Let's see if they take this shot. He wanted to go deep early in this game. Not yet.
So they turn to the ground game. And a gain of 4 for A.J. Turner.
Tom, I'll be anxious to see if Jake Bentley begins to keep some of these zone read option plays. I know Kurt Roper's probably asking him to protect himself, play it safe early, just go to the ground game. But these Missouri defensive ends and outside defenders are crunching down quickly.
They have been relatively predictable in those plays as he gives it up again, and A.J. Turner has nowhere to go, throwing for a loss of 6.
I would stay away from it, and here's the reason why. I don't want to bring injury into it. We've got something special, and when I tell you I turn the film on, when I start to watch Jake Bentley, I think he's special. I'm not going to put him in harm's way with a lead. This is the 3rd consecutive week that he's played with a lead, not having to play from behind. I'm not going to subject him to injury by him running the football.
They've run the ball 7 consecutive plays. After looking at what Kentucky did against Missouri last week, you understand why. Bentley pressured, and he gets drilled right in the grill by Charles Harris. Loss of 11.
Well, and this is one of the things that Kurt Roper told us concerned him. Charles Harris, their best pass rusher for Missouri, excellent off the edge, and just watch him work. Sets him up outside, comes back underneath, and then nobody's going to pick me up. Well, quarterback still has the ball in his hands. A little bit too long, trying to get through things, and then Charles Harris arrives at the doorstep of Jake Bentley.
Oh, big stand for Missouri's defense. Jonathan Johnson.
Oh, nice move.
Gets to the outside and is able to take it fast to the 40. 42-yard punt, 13 on the return. 4:12 to go in the first quarter in the Battle of the Columbias.
Oh, the ball comes out. That's Odom, 39, knocking the ball out.
We have selected our new head coach.
Now wins his first game as Missouri head coach.
It's the first of many, but it's this man's first win as a head man. Here's the ball.
Andre, I don't know that there's anybody who's met Barry Odom that doesn't want to see him succeed.
Oh.
He's a small-town Oklahoma guy from Maysville, Oklahoma, a true son, having played for Missouri, and he worked his way up. He was on Gary Pinkel's staff as the operations guy, then the head coach at Rockbridge High School, just 5 miles south of Mizzou's campus in Columbia. Position coach, defensive coordinator, now an opportunity as a head coach.
He promised me on the field before the game that his team was going to play well today. Turned it over early, but they are very much in this ball game.
Here's Demarie Crockett. No, it's play action. Deep ball down the sideline, and it was off the hands of Jamon Moore. He was that close to making a spectacular play over Jamarcus King.
Yeah, he got the tempo started with a catch for a first down to get the drive going. And here, almost coming up with a spectacular catch over was Jamarcus King, who had an outstanding game last week with 5 tackles and 2 picks.
Tigers went unbalanced left, and then they throw right to Demetrius Mason.
But they like this true freshman. 2 touchdown catches last week on four receptions, 100 yards. He's got some speed and can flat out burn.
They'll flip Polkin. Tigers go trips left along with Rashad Floyd. Locke escapes the pocket, and he gets brought down well short of the first down. Taylor Stallworth with the tackle. Looked like the pocket was holding pretty well, but that clock in his head told him to move.
I think he could have stayed there a little bit longer. It was holding up so well. I think Barry Odom's going to go for it here on 4th down, but there's still plenty of time. No pass rusher had come free to where he had or felt like he even needed to pull it down. That clock just went off.
4th down, 6.
Right here at the bottom of the screen.
Lock goes left, batted down. Jamarcus King with 2 picks last week against Tennessee. That dude's a playmaker.
That's a great point, is that when you're in a critical situation, you don't go at the best cover man or a guy that had 2 picks a week ago. You find the weakest cover guy in their secondary. If they're going to man it up, that's where you're going with the football. Find the matchup, the favorable matchup to move the chain.
And it should be simple in that regard, Andre, because Jamarcus King will always be on the left side of South Carolina's defense.
And that's exactly why I went right with the slot with the telestrator to show you where Drew Lock should go with the football. Even based on coverage, it told me to the right.
It's not like King is flipping sides before every snap. So, turnover on downs, back to South Carolina. Deebo Samuel, that's my bike, punk! And he's got a first down, Andre, but a flag on the play.
Oh, a little Friday action on a Saturday afternoon. Love it.
The gain of 28 if it stands, but they're walking back.
It'll be a first down, but from the spot of the foul, it'll be a hole, so not as good field position.
They give Brian Edwards a freshman flag.
I have to chuckle myself. Every time I say Deebo's name, I get a little chuckle because I think of the movie Friday.
How are you going to get fired on your day off?
You think his teammates don't give him a hard time, but you know what? When you can play like this, you shut them all up. Right there. Well, what a night. He has really come to life the last couple of weeks.
He and Edwards, they were both injured early. Edwards flagged for holding on John Gibson. So fresh set of downs for South Carolina, but the yardage given back, and now they'll turn it to Rico Dowdle again, and he gets wrestled down by Cam Hilton and company.
Well, Dowdle, kind of a compact build at 5'11", 211, but he can change direction so quickly. I think that's what makes him special. He's from Asheville, North Carolina. There's another back out of North Carolina that was pretty special as well that played in the SEC.
No.
Oh, yeah, Todd Gurley.
You're comparing the two?
No, I'm not comparing. I'm saying they're both from the state of North Carolina. That's about the only comparison I'm giving.
2nd and 2 now. Here's Dowdle again. He has looked Gurley-esque, though, over the last couple of games, and they've turned to him 43 carries over the last 2 games. And here's the interesting thing we got from Will Muschamp yesterday. They came out of the Kentucky game, and they sat down in staff meetings, and they said, who are we? Let's identify who we are. Let's find something, and let's stick to it. And that, they decided, was an inside running team.
Yeah, inside zone is what they wanted to become, and that's what they started to concentrate on. It really lightened the load for the offensive line as well, and they started to specialize there.
Bentley gives it up on first down, a gain of 3. Let's go back to the studio and check in with Dari.
On the verge of snapping the 3-game skid, guys.
All right, Dari, thanks. What do you think Jalen Hurd's thinking, sitting at home watching his former guys battle?
I've said it. I said it during a game that we had there a few weeks ago. I thought they used him wrong. I think he is a pistol type back that needs to come downhill. He's too big to run laterally, in my opinion, and I just don't think they were getting the best out of him. But you don't quit on your teammates, and that I don't agree with whatsoever. You finish the season, then you make whatever decision is best for you, but you at least finish the season.
Here's the thing. You can fool the fans, and you can fool the media, and you can maybe even fool your coaching staff. You can't fool the guys in that locker room.
Not in the locker room. There's no way.
One thing that's come out of that for Tennessee, though, we're hearing stories of great team leadership to help affect change in that locker room. 2nd and 12 now. And Dowdle heard the footsteps coming. It'll be incomplete. John Gibson there to blow him up. Here's what we heard from Butch Jones this week after Hurd decided he was going to transfer. I mean, those are just words, but the bottom line is his teammates sense that he wasn't all in, and there's the door.
Yeah, that's really what it boils down to in about as positive a way as you could really describe it by Butch Jones. But if you don't want to be here, go ahead and excuse yourself.
It's a big win for South Carolina last week, regardless against Tennessee. Now they have momentum. 2 of 5, pardon me, on 3rd downs today. This is a 3rd and 12 to close the first quarter. Bentley looking for a screen, and nothing doing that time. Brandon Lee takes down Rico Dowdle, a loss of 1. Well, Missouri's defense looks altogether different today, and that is great news in the Show Me State.
They're playing a lot faster this week. South Carolina going to punt it away, but leading 7-0 over Missouri.
Perhaps as part of this week's Backstage Pass, we're in watching film yesterday.
Yeah.
Lucky we didn't get a toe taken off. We thought they had a huge rodent problem. No, Will Muschamp and his strength coach came up with this idea.
That's SID, Steve Fink. Hey, so what's going on around here? You guys got a little problem? And I didn't realize that the cheese was fake. But nice message from the head coach that you don't take the cheese.
Will told us yesterday, he said this is a team that has experienced some success over the last couple of weeks, but we're still very young, and I sense that they were very relaxed this week. Well, I don't think Will Muschamp is in the business of keeping his team relaxed. Fair catch loss, and then Missouri able to recover it. Jonathan Johnson making some hearts skip a beat or two after that 41-yard punt. Here's what's remaining for South Carolina to get to a bowl. Remember, we were here 2 weeks ago, Andre, and he said,
Yep.
We still need 6, and we've got it in our sights. We now have healthy young wide receivers that allow us to stretch the field, and that was before he even admitted that Bentley was going to get his first
Makes
start.
this one extremely important against Missouri because you have at Florida, but you have Western Carolina that if you take care of business today, I got to believe that gets them to 6. And they are on to a bowl game, and with a young player like Jake Bentley, another 15 practices could play a major part in his development.
South Carolina has dominated time of possessions. They've run 10 more plays in Missouri already today. Demarie Crockett, great young-looking freshman out of Little Rock, is able to take it for 9.
Yeah, here's another kid that when you turn the film on, you get excited about him. And if you're a Missouri fan, you feel pretty good about the running game with Crockett.
And they go right back to him. He's the only freshman in school history with 3 100-yard rushing games. Last coming against Middle Tennessee State, he went for 156 and 4 touchdowns. That was a freshman record in rushing yards and touchdowns in a single game. Crockett again for the 3rd consecutive play. Picks up 3.
He was a little dinged up a couple of weeks ago. Finally got healthy against Kentucky, but they were able to kind of keep him contained. 13 carries, just 55 yards last week for the true freshman.
On 2nd and 7, Locke is able to dump it off to his tight end, Kendall Blanton, just shy of a first down. That will leave 3rd and 1, Cole.
One of the issues that Travaris Robinson, defensive coordinator, talked to us about, Tom, was getting in line. Will Muschamp came down and told T-Rob yesterday while I was sitting with him, I don't care what defense you run, I don't care what the call is, make sure our guys are lined up. Gamecocks having some issues with it on this drive.
They show pressure on 3rd and 1. Locke hesitates, and a quarterback keeper, and he's right up the seam for a first down. And Locke taken down for a gain of 12. They've been really happy with Drew Locke's decision-making in the run game.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, he's a former basketball player, very good basketball player, solid athlete, and that's just a part of his game you really don't give him credit for.
Fires complete on a slant. Demetrius Mason on the move, and Missouri's got a first down deep in South Carolina territory, a gain of 28.
Yeah, the true freshman put it on the ground early, trying to make up for it, gets inside position on a slant route, and almost houses it.
They're going unbalanced again, this time to the right side. In the past, they've gone away from the unbalanced line, and they've thrown left in this scenario. You see Colkin, number 80, is lined up normally where a tackle would be.
Right here, you get the man-to-man you want with the best receiver on their roster.
Now they'll run it out of this formation, and there's a huge hole for Crockett. Demarie Crockett will muscle his way in from 29 yards out. He ran right over Chris Moody.
Moody usually a linebacker's playing some safety because of injuries on the back end, but when you go man-to-man and you forget, you're able to split the second level, and all of a sudden you're one-on-one with a safety. That advantage is going to be to the true freshman Crockett each and every time. Oh, what a nice run. Blocked well up front. Samson Bailey, the center, throws an excellent block for Demarie Crockett.
A 7-play, 90-yard scoring drive for Drew Locke in Missouri. Demarie Crockett and a man missed at the line of scrimmage, took it the rest of the way. It's now the most productive rushing season for any freshman in school history at Mizzou. Guys like Harry Ice and Brock Olivo get passed by Demarie Crockett, who has tied this game.
I can revisit that touchdown run by Demarie Crockett. He gets a great block, a nice seal block off the edge right here, and then all of a sudden Jonathan Walton's going to miss a tackle, and then it's off to the races. Paul Adams sealing things down, their most consistent offensive lineman, and then you get Crockett into the third level of the defense. Not going to stop him from getting himself into the end zone.
Nice resurgence for this Missouri offense.
Well, I tell you what, Adams threw one heck of a block. Bailey inside for the other, and then it was off to the races, which is all you try to design plays for, to get to one-on-one situations. A lot of people think that term means receiver versus defensive back. No, sometimes it's the running back on either a linebacker or a third-level player like a safety. You get to the safety, it's just about a house call every time.
Barry Odom handling the defensive calls now, took those responsibilities away from his former teammate, DeMonte Cross, who was a co-DC at TCU under Gary Patterson last year. It's been the story of this season for Missouri. Barry Odom wanted to install what he ran at Memphis when he was the defensive coordinator there. It was such a big change, and this defense was so lost that they reverted to a much simpler system as to what they ran last year. Here's the rub. As Dowdle tries to find some space, Augusta is able to wrap him up and throw him for a loss. Andre, Missouri is 127th in the nation. They allow 102 yards per game after contact. I don't care what scheme you're running. Yeah. If you can't make tackles, you're done.
You got to make tackles. You can be there. You can get yourself in position, but you have to finish the job. And that's where they've been coming up a little bit short. Well, a lot short defensively. Getting in position to make plays and not make it. And I tell you what, Big Josh, he got there and he finished the last play.
Josh Augusta with a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Here's Hayden Hurst, who takes the screen up the sideline for a first down. Eric Beisel finally brings down the former Pittsburgh Pirate farmhand.
Yeah, who's made himself into an NFL prospect by moving from wide receiver at 6'5", now 250 pounds, down to tight end, improving every week as a blocker. Likes the inline stuff, but still needs a little bit of improvement in space working against smaller defensive players.
Two tight ends in the game now for South Carolina as they turn to A.J. Turner. He's found it tough sledding. Eric Beisel brings him down after 3.
Just to kind of put a bow on that, with Barry Odom going back and basically going to the system that was in place, it's a whole lot easier for him to learn the system that was in place than 85 other players to learn a new system. You know, you use or utilize what they're used to and then play to their strengths. So it's going to take some getting used to on his part.
Well, he was a defensive coordinator last year at Missouri after being away down in Memphis with Justin Fuente for 3 seasons. Bentley on the run, back foot, and it is caught at the 30-yard line by Brian Edwards. Gain of 28.
Talking to Will Muschamp, he said, we've got two that play on the outside that I'd put against anybody in the country. Brian Edwards and Deebo Samuel. He's already made some plays. You start looking for Samuel, and the other guy on the other side can hurt you.
So now South Carolina turning up the tempo, taking a page from Missouri's book. Turner picks up a pair.
Bentley certainly capable, because between the ears, he is as good as there is I've seen all season long. A guy that can get through progressions. It's not one side of the field or just one read and pull it down. It's through progressions, and you can see it. You will see it throughout this ball game.
He is efficient. 9 of 11 today. 15 of 20 last week against Tennessee. 3-man rush. Missouri drops 8. Bentley can't find a hole. And that's a play that they have fallen in love with. Just the idea that he can throw it away.
Don't force it. He got to about the third option in that play, and it wasn't there. Don't force it. Get rid of it. You'll watch him here. Watch his helmet. It's about the center of the field. Then it's kind of towards the right. Then it's to the sideline. Nobody's open. Let it go out of bounds. That's excellent work. Simple throwaway, but a smart play.
3rd down 8. Missouri rushes only 3 again. Bentley completes it to Edwards, and he makes it to the 20. If he did, that'd be a first down. Let's see the spot.
I think he's going to have it. Maybe just short, but boy, did he stretch it out there.
Wow, that's not a good spot.
Roll, yeah, I agree with the fans here who are certainly booing. Watch the extend. The ball comes down at the 20. I think that the replay officials may have to take a look at this.
4th and 1. They're going to go for it here. Bentley will empty.
Guess what?
Wildcat and a first down. Missouri got torched by Kentucky's Wildcat last week.
23 times Kentucky ran the Wildcat, direct snap to the back and came downhill. They pretty much owned Missouri offensively in the second half, or especially the fourth quarter, with that formation alone. 23 snaps of it. You had to figure that Kurt Roper was going to get to it at some point in this game.
So spot 2 plays ago, irrelevant now. Back to Rico Dowdle. Kentucky's running backs were so good against Missouri last week. The Tigers stayed in the same call every time against the Wildcat. Couldn't stop it. It was the most productive 2-back day for a Kentucky team since Bear Bryant was the coach there.
Tell you what, they did some work. True freshman, along with Boom Williams. Amazing.
2nd down 9. Bentley looks left. Fade route. End zone. Incomplete. Trying to get it to Casey Crosby. Couldn't bring it down in bounds.
Tell you what, he bobbled it, which is why I think they ruled it an incompletion. The foot, I think, comes down in bounds, but it bounces off his chest. He loses it right there. You'll see the foot's in bounds, but it bounced away. Let's see if he has possession. He reels it back in. Foot still in bounds. Let's review this one because that's a touchdown. And what a throw. What a throw by Jake Bentley. Tom, watching film, I get excited about this kid. Live action, I get excited about the kid. I told him he was going to be special when I went down on the field. Just keep doing what you do. That one looks like it's in bounds.
It was ruled incomplete on the field, so they'll get on the headset. And Andre, here's my only counter to that. Ken Williamson, by the way, our referee. Mike McGinnis, our replay official. They get help from Birmingham with the replay center back in the SEC offices. It was ruled incomplete on the field. We haven't. This might be the cleanest look of the left foot, but I can't still tell you whether or not that foot is on the white or not because it's blocked by the Mizzou player's foot.
Right there.
I don't know that you can see any green.
Yeah. Because the foot's going to roll over. Right here, watch it as it rolls over. It's in bounds, we knew, and then it rolls over. He secures the catch before he hits the ground.
I agree that he secured the ball. I just don't know that it's indisputable.
Yeah, I think this one's going to get, because he loses it, the foot's still down, he regains it. I think that's 6.
I think
it's a pretty good play. Yeah, and they're pretty close, even if they don't overturn the ruling on the field, which I think they should.
I think if it was ruled a touchdown on the field, there's no doubt they would have kept it a touchdown. I just don't know that there's enough indisputable video evidence. You know what we need? Pylon cam. Can you put that request in? That would have told us.
You got it.
2 desperate teams. Will Muschamp trying to get South Carolina back to a bowl.
Missouri trying to rip off 4 in a row to get themselves bowl eligible.
Okay, work with me here. Let's just pretend that it's ruled incomplete and they're looking at 3rd and long again. What do you do with Bentley? Take another look at the left foot of Casey Crosby. Is it in or not? Can you reliably say without a doubt that it's in?
Oh, when I look at it, I see that it's in. I think the foot's in. As it plants and starts to come up on the toes, he's still in bounds. At that point, he regains possession of the football.
Steve Shaw is back in Birmingham watching this one, no doubt about that, and wondering why they don't have bigger monitors back in the video center. Because I just can't. I think we disagree on what we're seeing here. I can't see it. By the way, elsewhere in SEC play, Arkansas is up a touchdown on Florida as they near the end of the first half.
I think that's a touchdown.
This replay has taken a while. That tells me that they are very unsure of what they're seeing. Replays in the SEC this year had been the fastest as they've ever been since replay was introduced in college football.
Boy, that's a heck of a play.
But the time spent on this is an outlier. I think your biggest hint is that it's green turf coming up and not white turf.
And not white turf. Puts down and regains ball. Still in. Looks like 6 to me.
The ball can move. You know, as he's going to turf, he
I
can
bet you
still be in control.
every Missouri fan watching this game
Review, the ruling on the field stands.
is happy right now.
Incomplete pass.
But they're saying it incomplete. I bet you every South Carolina fan is calling it complete.
Depends on what color your golf shirt is, right? If it's
No
gold,
doubt.
you're seeing it one way.
Yep.
Garnet, you're seeing another. So now 3rd and 9. What do you do with Jake Bentley?
Look, if you can spread out Missouri, you run the draw right here. Maybe you get Hurst with 2 safeties as they're trying to rotate down. You see the rotation down and over. We're going to have a single safety look here outside.
There goes Hurst into the end zone the opposite way. It is batted away, and it is caught! What a play by Rico Dowdle off of Eric Beisel and into the hands of the freshman.
Don't tell me Jake Bentley can't read coverages. Weakness of the defense, what it appeared to be too deep, he was thinking Hayden Hurst. Once it rotated, I said outside. Where'd the ball go? Outside. This job, it actually ricochets off Eric Beisel's the back of his left arm, and nice concentration by Rico Dowdle to reel it in.
First career touchdown reception for the freshman. And now a chance to be the all-time leader in points for Elliott Fry. He has set a new career record with his second extra point of the day. He's made 142 of those in a row, second most in SEC history. Fry just keeps putting up points. And this guy, Rico Dowdle, he's going to score some points before his time in Columbia is done. South Carolina back in front. Jadeveon Clowney back in town. South Carolina defensive end, boy, he was a disruptor at the college level, now at the NFL.
Starting to disrupt on the NFL level with the Texans. I get a chance to call his games each and every week, and tell you what, he is when he's healthy, I don't know that there's one better.
You know, Michigan's Vincent Smith still has a headache.
Yes, he is. That was some hit. Nick Clowney. You know what? He's had a couple of them in the NFL where he's just about taking the handoff.
Ground ball fielded at the 12-yard line. A good field position by Missouri after Crockett brings it out. Well, Jake Bentley thus far today is thrown for a touchdown, 107 yards through the air. Efficient, 11 of 15.
You see any interceptions on there?
Nope.
No, none all season. That's 5 touchdown passes, no interceptions. The kid, I mentioned it earlier, just a gym rat. Studies, a lot of film. I say film. I said I was going to, this morning I said I was going to eliminate that word from my vocabulary. Video is going in.
There's Ish Witter with his first.
There's no
carry of the
film.
day.
Film sounds so old school to me now. It's video. You're studying the video.
You still own CDs?
A couple. But I don't use them.
It's okay.
Very rarely.
Second down for Drew Lock and company. Back to Ish Witter again. You're talking about young quarterbacks being able to take care of the football. Well, Missouri learned on the other end how that can be so dangerous. Consecutive pick sixes that Drew Lock threw in their game in Gainesville against Florida. Ball game over at that point.
Yeah, no doubt. And because the morale of the football team goes with the pick six. I mean, you just feel like you have no hope at that point. Nice move.
Wow, he threw on the brakes, and he got clocked after a feet first slide. Locke gets a flag late. Chris Lamonge came in and will at least be penalized 15 yards.
Yeah, we got to take a look and see if he goes above the shoulder pads on
Personal
Drew
foul,
Lock.
targeting defense number 3. The previous play is under review.
We had one against Tennessee where he actually got tossed for fighting. in the first half last week. And this one, he's going to be gone, Tom. This one will stand. There's no pull off. There's going through. There's follow through. There's intent. All of what's written in that rule happened right there, and he'll sit the rest of this one out.
So it'll be the second consecutive game that Chris Lamons will be ejected. Last week against Tennessee in the first quarter for unsportsmanlike after taking a couple of swings at Juwan Jennings. DJ Smith is the safety normally for South Carolina. He can't play in this game for another 7 minutes and 48 seconds on the clock. He'll return in the second half, but for the meantime, South Carolina's got to find some personnel if this ejection holds.
And here's why, because they take Lamons and move him down inside over the, there's so many wide receivers in the formation for Missouri that they move him down into the nickel spot. This is from last week where he throws a couple of haymakers right here. Right here, low one, a high one. That'll get you ejected.
Travaris Robinson
After
said,
further
listen.
review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The penalty is 15 yards, an automatic first down. Number 3 is disqualified from the ball game.
Second consecutive game that Lamons from Lauderhill, Florida has been ejected. And Travaris Robinson, Cole, already had a talk with him last week after he threw 2 punches and said, what's the point of that? What are you going to get? You're not going to hurt the guy. He's wearing pads.
No, I love that by T-Rob saying, did you hurt him? Did you hurt his, maybe you hurt his feelings, but T-Rob told me yesterday too, he said, Cole, I've got 10 DBs on this team, 10. He said, I need upwards of 15 to play. He said, they were talking to Deebo Samuel on the sideline last week about, we might have to put you in there and go cover somebody.
Yeah. Especially against this Missouri team that runs 79 plays a game and 2 weeks ago ran more than 100. Locke trying to go to Demetrius Mason.
And that's my point, Tom, is that you're going to see at the very least in a formation 3 receivers, sometimes 4. Then they'll empty it out and you'll have 5. So you don't have enough quality defensive backs to cover up. Now for Drew Lock, with Lamons out of the game, find the matchup that you like.
Chaz Elder, normally a cornerback, is in there at safety now as Missouri goes to Ish Witter for the 4th time on this drive, and he picks up 4 yards. Missouri's tempo is the best in the SEC. They want to try to wear defenses down just by the sheer volume of plays because they don't have the size and personnel to do it in a traditional style.
See the time of possession per drive ranks first. Seconds per play off the clock. First. They go fast, in other words, ladies and gentlemen.
Former Oklahoma quarterback Josh Heupel, the OC, nothing doing on the run game with Witter again. Bryson Allen Williams is stopped.
And as well, it'll change the way T-Rob, Travaris Robinson, calls defenses. Not quite as enough, quite a lot of man-to-man. He'll get out, he'll get away from that. You'll see South Carolina play more zone coverage because of the loss of Chris Lamons.
Missouri going for it on 4th down for the 2nd time today. Blanton's the tight end on the right side. Locke looking over the middle at him. Nothing there. Goes left. Finds Jamon Moore. He spins his way to a Mizzou 1st down and a gain of 10.
Nice job of getting to the 1st down marker. So when he caught the pass, he was already there. But then he's a special player. After the catch, able to spin and get a couple of more.
Witter finds a hole straight up the middle. Ish Witter takes it in. 25-yard touchdown run, and it looks eerily similar to what Crockett did from 29 yards out.
You took the words right out of my mouth. It almost looked like the same play. Split the safeties. You'll see the linebackers miss. Nice block by Kendall Blanton, the tight end. And then it's a foot race. You don't have to run long. You have the type of drive Missouri had there.
Andre, after Missouri's first touchdown and after the point after, there was some back and forth between Missouri's offense and the South Carolina student section in the north end zone. That continued right after that. One of the students, or somebody in those stands, threw a water bottle onto the field that nearly hit Drew Lock. How cool is Drew Lock? He picked it up and took a drink out of it.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Oh, boy.
Well, he's having fun, and he's got some swagger, and this Missouri team has tied Carolina for the 2nd time. This Union Station opened in 1902. Now the home of California Dreamin'. I'm going to let you handle the rest.
Yeah, we had the crew there last night. Tell you what, it was nice. Excellent dinner. Took good care of us. There's my spot right there when I'm by myself. That booth right there faces a television.
You're a Heisman winner. You're never by yourself.
I am when I go there.
Kickoff will go out of bounds in this last play after the touchdown. A little bit out of bounds by the South Carolina student section after Missouri was able to score. Watch the water bottle come out of the student section and towards the feet of Drew Lock, number 3, the Missouri quarterback. And then watch what he does with it. Now, Andre, listen to me here.
First down.
If the Carolina student section is anything like the student sections that I've sat in back in the day, you can't be entirely sure that that's just one.
Yeah, could be something else. Oh, boy.
And then when Paul Adams, the offensive lineman, came up the field after the extra point, Drew Lock said, "Did you see that? Did you see what I did?" Who knew?
I couldn't do it.
Who knew the Battle of Columbia's would have so much animosity?
May have poured it over my head, but certainly would not have taken that drink.
There's A.J. Turner on the left side. Brandon Lee, along with some friends, brings him down after a gain of perhaps 3. That's getting chippy between the teams.
Waiting on that shot still that Will Muschamp promised. As this is excellent field position. You get something positive on first down. It's about the area where you can take it.
Bentley has been aggressive as a young quarterback, even in the fall scrimmages.
Right out here.
He'll roll and on the run, lofted out of bounds. Second time he's had to throw it away today. Out of his 5 misfires, 2 of them have been throwaways.
Tom, one thing I noticed last week, South Carolina's game plan, a lot of play action, but the majority of the time they went play action was when Jake Bentley would take on pressure. Usually, that's not something that's going to happen. When you play action and roll out, Andre can speak to a quarterback's mentality of just knowing when to get rid of the football, but I was surprised to see some of the leakage and some of the pressure that came off play action last week for the game.
Usually play action, you're keeping the back end, he's protected. You got the tight end, and if you're going to max protect, keep him in.
Here's Bentley on the run, and he'll scramble out of bounds for a South Carolina first down.
Well, you know what he has, Tom? Just a good feel for the game. You got to feel when to pull it down. You're getting the rush. It's not a step-up situation here. If I step up, I'm going to be tackled. So I got to step up and then run to the first down. And what I like best about it, don't take a shot. Get yourself out of bounds and protect your body.
He was set to enter his senior season at Opelika High School near Auburn, Alabama, going into this year. Instead, he signed early with South Carolina. Here's Deebo Samuel making people miss, and he carries the defender with him for another yard or 2. Donovan Newsom went for a ride, a gain of 12.
Can't roll coverage to one of them. Can't take away Edwards because Samuel will hurt you. You can't take away Samuels because Edwards will hurt you. But here, when you get this kid the ball in space, he does some magical stuff with it.
Movement on the left side. Mason Zandy, one of the few seniors on this South Carolina roster.
That may have saved them from a disaster, that false start. That ball was snapped as Samuel was coming in motion. It hit him.
Offside. Defense number 91. The movement by the defense caused the offense to react. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
It's Charles Harris that gets flagged for the offsides. Watch him at the top up here. There he is. Correct call by the officials.
Missouri besieged by penalties a couple weeks ago in the Middle Tennessee State game. Flagged 13 times for 125 yards in a homecoming loss. Deep ball, Bentley. Caught! And down at the goal line is Chavis Dawkins. It goes for 34 to face first, full of turf. Small price to pay.
Another true freshman, young player that's going to be around a long time for Will Muschamp. There's the shot that he was talking about before the game.
A.J. Turner lowers his head, can't get in. Brandon Lee and friends there to bring him down.
This took him a little while to get to it. Watch Chavis Dawkins climb the ladder and reel that baby in. Nice job of concentration. And then he beats Missouri's best cover man in Arian Penton on the back end.
A.J. Turner writhing in pain, holding his knee, it seems like.
Oh boy, you just hope he's okay. He's actually the team's leading rusher. Came in with just about 328 yards and a couple of touchdowns, and just got bent back there. It looks maybe the leg got caught under the pile.
3:52 remaining in the first half in this back and forth affair.
Jake Bentley too.
They took the red shirt off and they turned their season around. Second and goal for South Carolina after Turner was helped off the field. Bentley rolling, changes direction, and he goes down before his head gets taken off by Cam Hilton. It's a loss of 5. You think about the decision that Will Muschamp had to make. Do we take the red shirt off of this young man? And if we do, can we win? And it wasn't for winning next year or the year after. It's for winning now and getting to 6 wins and getting to a bowl.
Well, you talk to his teammates, and they're like, well, it wasn't as if he wasn't making plays in practice. He's never really a true scout team guy. He would get some reps, but not a lot of them. But there were some splash plays in practice that made you go, wow, that he could, this is no surprise to his teammates.
Third and goal, looking for Hurst. Instead, the slant is caught, and South Carolina has its third lead of the game on a strike to Casey Crosby.
Keep in mind, Jake Bentley should be playing his senior year in high school. Graduated as a junior, true freshman, and look at the poise. Slide in the pocket, deliver the football with accuracy and timing. It is fun to watch if you like quarterbacks.
He's the first quarterback since John David Booty to skip his senior year and quarterback a major college conference team. Worked out pretty well for Booty. Ended up being Rose Bowl MVP. Third straight game with a touchdown catch for Casey Crosby. These tight ends for South Carolina have been fantastic. And Jake Bentley, since they took that red shirt off and they put him on the field, he's just been making plays. This was probably at least his second read, if not his third.
Yeah, nice slow read to start outside and curl back underneath to bring that baby in, Casey Crosby. But what you like about him is, one, his poise. He's accurate. He's a gym rat. So I know Will Muschamp loves that he's in the film room every day trying to get better, trying to get, win his teammates over. Still at this point, and I think he's done an outstanding job.
Will Muschamp is a defensive coach by trade. He almost hesitated to make this point with us, but he said, listen, you can't ignore the fact.
Yeah.
The quarterback is the main player on any team. He impacts everyone in the entire program.
And outside the program, because I asked him specifically, when you're recruiting, do you bring recruits in and show them film highlights of a guy like Jake Bentley? He says, absolutely. We use those resources. And we've had, matter of fact, we had 2 calls this week from guys that we weren't on their radar that want to come in and visit and play with a guy like Jake Bentley.
Why wouldn't you want to play with Jake Bentley?
Spread it around right here. You see the accuracy. Look at this one. The timing. Nice job there. Bailing him out was Rico Dowdle. This one to the outside, who gets him down to the 1-yard line. And how about the accuracy here to Casey Crosby? I tell you what, the kid is going to be special. We're going to talk about Jake Bentley for a while.
Under 3 minutes to go, first half. Drew Lock hands it off to Demarie Crockett, who's able to find maybe 1 yard on the right side. Talking with South Carolina staff and offensive coordinator Kurt Roper, he said the drop-back passing game will be his baby. That's what is going to be his strength, but he is still learning the nuances of the position. Second down 9. Crockett picks up 1.
So like I said earlier, it's what you can't teach, and it's just kind of the feel for the game. I told him around here yesterday, enjoy this for 3 years, because that's about all you're going to get out of Jake Bentley.
He looks like an NFL quarterback.
There's no doubt in my mind. The frame, I mean, you don't look like that as a high school senior. He is every bit of 6'3", 223 pounds.
19 years old. Play clock will get to single digits before Drew Lock gets this snap off. They go trips to the left side. Locke looking left, staring left, wanting to go left. Instead, he goes down. Another sack for Carolina. A loss of 8. DJ Wonnum and Jonathan Walton there.
And Tyler Howell, the left tackle, they just couldn't hold up long enough. As Drew Locke trying to survey the field. We'll see here the protection just start to break down. A couple of different South Carolina players able to get to the doorstep of Drew Locke. That ball has got to come out.
Second sack of the day for Carolina. 1:47 to go before the half this college football season. Stream every game live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. Download the app or visit watchespn.com. You got your iPad, you got your phone.
I got the college game on and a nice salad and some she crab soup right in front of me.
Debo lets it drop. It'll take a Missouri hop and trickle all the way down to the 27-yard line. Good punt from Corey Fatoni, covers 51 yards. 1 minute 34 to go before the half. Celebrating its 12th year, sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets. All-State makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, All-State has contributed millions in scholarship funds.
This will tell me just how much trust that Will Muschamp has in his true freshman quarterback right here.
Would you go for it?
Oh, no. You cannot win a football game in the first half. There's no such thing as scoring too many points in the first half of a football game. You'll look back in a lot of instances and wish you had that possession back.
They go for the quarterback draw, and Bentley went down. May have tripped over his center, Allen not.
And just trying to pop one to get the drive going. And he's tripped up. But yeah, 120, 130, whatever it was to start it. Now they're going to take their time because he didn't have success on first down. This crowd's going to get restless again. I think we were here 2 weeks ago, and the exact same thing happened. Now, in that situation, he's making his first start. I get it. Protect him a little bit, but he's tasted some success, and you got to see if he's able to win for you in this type of situation.
So barring a crazy play, Carolina will hit the locker room with the lead. Missouri will get the ball to start the second half. Tigers use a timeout here. They have 2 remaining. Stopping with 49 seconds left and hoping to get the ball back. They'll get it back with time if they can keep South Carolina from a first down. At Arkansas, and Arkansas with a comfortable lead in the second half. So if Florida loses, Kentucky knocks off Georgia. The Kentucky Wildcats will be in sole possession of first place by the end of the night tonight.
Yeah.
And we might be talking about it tomorrow, by the way, when I'm there for Kentucky basketball. That'd be huge.
No doubt about it. 1:34 was on this clock with 2 timeouts. That's an eternity in college football. Go score some points.
Or the Canadian Football League, if that's...
Oh, that would take all night. You start a 2-minute drill in Canada.
Run up the middle is good for a first down for David Williams on his first carry. Gain of 12.
Now you get back on schedule. Now the 2-minute drill comes back into play here. You get a point. You get something. Actually, Will Muschamp, I think, is going to take a timeout.
We were just joking with Muschamp yesterday about how long the last minute in college games take. He's like, man, something's got to change. Let's go to NFL rules. Let's just get these games over with in 3 hours. Now it's to his advantage after they picked up the first
Once
down.
you get a positive play, a big play to get a first down, now you get into your 2-minute offense. With 47 seconds, clock will stop with each first down to move the chains.
And he's got 2 young wide receivers that are now healthy, that can really stretch the field. Brian Edwards and Debo Samuel have blossomed into playmakers.
And that's the point he's trying to make, is that you don't need to, if you go into the NFL rules, you should know where the ball's being spotted. The chains can move without the clock being stopped, which takes forever. And I got into it, got into the conversation with him about my favorite rule change that hasn't happened is the pass interference being marked at the spot of the foul. I need to call Steve Shaw and get a reasoning why that has never been on the table.
He's listening right now.
Every one of them has been, every penalty just about is marked from the spot of the foul.
Bentley,
except pass interference.
Pressure. Charles Harris will drag him down from behind. It's another sack for the Missouri defense, a loss of 7.
And that's where he'll learn from. Cannot take a sack in the 2-minute drill. That's the #1 rule. Once you go into a 2-minute offense, the ball's got to come out. Incompletion, stop the clock.
Third sack for the Missouri defense, a team that has not created much, if any, havoc on defense through the first 2/3 of this season when they're mostly playing kind of a read and react defensive line. For D-line Zoo, a defense that put multiple guys in the NFL based on the pressure and the numbers they put up front. So that sack will end the first half. Will Muschamp will go to the locker room with the lead. Carolina. We start the third quarter play from Columbia, South Carolina, with the Gamecocks leading the Tigers by a touchdown. Two desperate teams trying to make it bowl eligible. Welcome back, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Heisman winner, College Football Hall of Famer Andre Ware. Two young quarterbacks. We talked about them in the open. They've been keys for both teams, not just making plays, but bringing the energy level up.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, the passion from both sides, both Drew Lock and Jake Bentley, have been kind of off the charts for these two offenses, but both have taken care of the football and led their teams on scoring drives.
South Carolina scored first in the game. Missouri answered. That repeated itself again, and Jake Bentley came out of the blocks just hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah, he really did. Nice little touch pass over the top to Rico Dowdle, and then he comes back underneath to Casey Crosby. 2 touchdown passes for Jake Bentley, but Drew Lock, he got it going. The pass opened up the run. Right up the middle of the formation goes Demarie Crockett along with Ish Witter, splitting the defense, out-racing the secondary into the end zone. Both, as I mentioned, have taken care of the football. No interceptions on the season for Jake Bentley.
Crockett, 6 carries and a touchdown. Witter, 5 carries and a touchdown. Let's check in with Cole Kublik.
Tom spoke to Barry Odom, Missouri head coach, coming out of the tunnel. He said, number one, I'm not giving up on the rushing attack. We haven't run the ball very well in the first half, but we are going to get that going. Number two, defensively, he feels pretty good about his unit. He said, I like my run defense. We're going to continue to try and take the rush away from South Carolina. If they're going to win this football game, Jake Bentley's going to have to do it through the air.
You know, Cole, the funny part is Missouri has been more efficient running the ball than South Carolina. 5 yards a carry for Missouri, less than 2 yards a carry for Carolina. We start the second half as Missouri will get the ball to start it, and a solid return for Alex Ross to set up Drew Lock in this Missouri offense. Lock in the first half, 9 of 14, 98 yards with a long of 27. He was sacked twice. Last year against South Carolina, it was his first career start. The former backup to Matty Mock, the sophomore from Lee's Summit High School outside of Kansas City, got the win in his first start against South Carolina last year at Faurot Field. And he will throw it on first down, and a sitting catch made for a gain of 7 by Jamon Moore.
Well, he has really started to assert himself in this game. A couple of big grabs in the first half for Jamon Moore, their top receiver and playmaker on the outside.
Ish Witter starts the second half for Missouri in the backfield. Locke will keep it this time. Tried to cut back in before Marquavius Lewis brought him down.
You talk about just a model of consistency. You're looking at it right there, number 8 with Lewis. This seems to get better each and every Saturday.
DJ Smith in the game at safety for South Carolina. He'll come up and make a hit on Sean Colkin. Smith playing for the first time in today's game after being ejected for targeting last week. And Colkin just taking Gamecocks with him. He dragged 4 different guys on a gain of 23.
When they opened the game, when Drew Lock hit that same pass to Sean Colkin early in the game, it was to the other side of the formation. But hey, what, he's supplied a little energy there on the back end of that catch.
Moore wide open. Smith comes up to hit him. It's a first down for Missouri, a gain of 12.
Jamon Moore gets up and says, hey, keep feeding me. I'm a little hungry. I haven't had the ball in a while. We've been in a halftime. I need to eat a little bit.
Locke pumps. Moore didn't go, and he'll just have to throw it out of bounds. We got a flag on the play. Flag on the near side out by the receivers. Outside the numbers.
False start. Offense. Not all 11 players were set for a full second. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
And every once in a while you'll get that when you're trying to go tempo. They picked up a first down. Trying to go tempo, get everybody set. And that's on Drew Lock. You've got to make sure before you ask for the ball that everybody said. You'll see out wide Culkin as well as Demetrius Mason. Both receiver and tight end moving around.
So it makes it a 1st and 15. Shifty running back Ish Witter takes it up the middle again. Following big number 77, Paul Adams for a Missouri first down.
Is he having some kind of game? Guy that played as a true freshman and last season really came on when Russell Hansbrough suffered some injuries.
Here's Witter again. And Witter breaks free for a moment again. Dragged down from behind by Chris Moody. Gain of 8. Well, Barry Odom told Cole, we're not going to give up on the running game. Going to stick with it. They go unbalanced left this time. Witter, with a sudden surge, is able to maybe pick up the first down. He exploded into Jonathan Walton, and Missouri gets the first down.
Yeah, this is that warped pace that Missouri likes to go on. So they substitute. It allows South Carolina, and you see the official right in the middle, right there, holding up play to make sure South Carolina can get their substitutes in.
It started when Missouri took Culkin out the field. Now Kendall Blanton in at his tight end spot. Inside receiver on the top of the formation. 8th play of the drive to start the second half for Mizzou. Locke looking at the double slants. Instead throws the fade. There's Blanton. Touchdown Tigers. A 9-yard strike and a well drawn up play by Josh Heupel and company.
Boy, excellent timing by Drew Locke and Kendall Blanton. This ball's thrown. Watch the timing. The ball's thrown. Blanton's not even out of his route yet. That takes a tremendous amount of reps and confidence in your receiver to know that he's going to be in the right place at the right time and then make a play to finish it. That's good work.
Tucker McCann on to attempt the extra point. He's missed a couple this season. You think Drew Locke's having fun?
I think so. Drinking water from the fans, all that.
We think it's water. It's at least a clear liquid. May find some of that at 5 points tonight of other varieties. Locke with his first touchdown pass to the game for Kendall Blanton, his 3rd of the season. Tigers have tied it again. Tigers and Gamecocks tied at 21 as Missouri starts the second half with an 8-play, 72-yard scoring drive. Ish Witter has a touchdown to his name, but we're going to show you that moments ago, even though he didn't have the ball in his hands, he made a key play at that Missouri touchdown. Adams puts it in the air. Rashad Fenton watches it take a hop. It'll go outside the pylon. That's why the official stands outside. If it hits him, he knows it was outside of the pylon, and so a flag will give South Carolina field position. Let's go back to the Mizzou pass.
Yeah, you're going to see Chris Moody.
Number 91. Receivers have elected to put the ball
right
in play
here,
at the
creep
35-yard
up,
line.
Start in as a linebacker, then he goes to the edge of the line of scrimmage. And he's going to come. Watch Ish Witter. If you're a young running back, this is how you get on the field. Protect your quarterback. You don't have to throw knockout shots, but right there, just a piece allows Drew Locke to get the ball in the air to Kendall Blanton. Just a little piece of Chris Moody gives the necessary time needed to throw the touchdown pass.
1st and 10 for Bentley, and he hands it off to Rico Dowdle. Snuck by the first guy and is able to scratch and claw for a couple yards before Eric Beisel brings him down. Remember, Missouri's playing without starting middle linebacker Cale Garrett, ejected for targeting. South Carolina playing without one of their defensive backs, Chris Lamons, who was ejected from targeting.
And now a little bit more pressure on Jake Bentley. I mentioned earlier that all season he hasn't had to play from behind. Make sure of that.
Let me ask you, as a quarterback, especially a young one, where does that pressure manifest itself? What makes it so tough?
Well, it causes you to start to press. The deeper into the game you get, the more you feel like you have to do in order for your team to win the football game. So now it's tied up. He still hadn't played from behind. But if that were to happen, Missouri gets off the field here on 3rd down, they go down and score. You get to see what's really inside of Jake Bentley.
3rd down 10. This place has grown quiet. Low snap, pressured. He gets folded in half. The pass is caught by Deebo Samuel for a first down. Arian Penton right there, but it goes for 27 for the Gamecocks.
I'll tell you what, he's made of all the right ingredients, willing to stand in there, but this is a teaching moment for receivers. If you don't go up and catch that ball with your hands, it's going to get knocked down by the defender. And then this is for quarterbacks. You have to take shots sometimes in order to deliver the football. Not everybody's willing to do that. That's when you become special, when you can deliver that way.
That last replay looked like the pins knocking away from the bowling ball. Dowdle able to take it for 5.
Well, that play, what really stood out was Deebo Samuel going up, grabbing the ball out of the air rather than waiting for it so he could cradle it into his shoulder pads.
Missouri getting a signal from the sideline, checking the wristbands. South Carolina going no huddle. Dowdle snuck through the line of scrimmage, able to pick up 2. Ricky Hatley there to stop him. It will leave 3rd and medium. Officially, they'll call it 3rd and 3. South Carolina's converted 7 of 12 today. Bentley scans the entire field. Now he'll take off. And he gets thrown after a gain of 1 to the turf by Eric Beisel, the 4th-year junior out of Fenton, Missouri. Got the start for Michael Shear a couple games ago after Shear, the great team leader, was injured in the loss to Middle Tennessee State.
This is when you know the offense. Watch his head. Watch the helmet, scanning, one progression to another. I'm out of options. Got a little green grass in front of me. Go ahead and take it. That gives Kurt Roper a lot of confidence in that young man because he knows that he's reading. He's going through his progressions.
46-yard attempt for Fry. It is just over the upright. They will say no good. Elliott Fry can't hit the go-ahead field goal with 9:18 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Doesn't just get tight for quarterbacks, Tom. Kickers as well. That when the game gets late, you start to get late. One team has the momentum. Nice hold, nice kick. It's wide left. We're still tied.
Hi, quarterback Andre Ware. What do these numbers tell you?
That we got 2 pretty good young quarterbacks doing battle this afternoon and getting it done in a little different ways, but still effective nonetheless. 2 touchdowns for Jake Bentley, 1 for Drew Lock, and Lock with a chance to put Missouri ahead.
Missouri has not led in this game. On 1st and 10, he goes over the middle, the tight end again. They have run that play, Andre, at least 3 times today. This time it was Kendall Blanton.
Twice to Sean Culkin, the big tight end at 6'6", 250. Then they go back to Kendall Blanton, who they are very high on. Just a sophomore who caught the touchdown pass.
And all of a sudden, as Crockett takes it on the left side, all of the posters at Tiger Board are saying, see, I told you, we need to throw it over the middle more. Missouri has found success over the middle.
Well, they've got Jason Reese, another tight end that we have not called his name. There's 3 that are very effective for Missouri.
Reese had been banged up with a rib injury after the Middle Tennessee game as Moody comes in to make the stop on Crockett, gain of 1. A deep Missouri team. When you talk about tight ends, the same program that produced Chase Kaufman, and oh, by the way, a guy by the name of Kellen Winslow back in the day.
You know, and you fast forward, we can do it. Coaches won't because they live in the moment. But these are going to be 2 surprise teams in 2017 because of all the youth that they have. A lot of young players playing in this ball game for both sides.
They're going jumbo here. Augusta, the first back, is a defensive tackle. Multiple offensive linemen have entered the game, including Trevor Sims.
Had that touchdown run last week.
Play clock at 1. Locke hands it off, and Crockett following those big guys may have gotten stopped. No gain. Jonathan Walton, first man there. And that will leave 4th and 1.
If I'm Barry Odom, I line up, same formation, go back to the same play, and I tell Crockett, follow Josh Augusta. He came through clean. If you just stay behind him, you got an opportunity to not only to pick up the first down, but to break it and turn it into a foot race.
They're talking about it on the Missouri sideline. They'll have a chance to discuss because they're going to bring the chain out.
Let's take a look at that last play. Watch Big 97. Just stay behind him. Stay behind him. Be patient. Stay behind him. You cut, jump, whatever you got to do to stay behind him, and you come through free.
They could just slip off his right hip.
No doubt. And then it's a foot race.
So perhaps the length of a football needed for Missouri to convert this 4th down.
I line up. I'm going for it. The message is stay behind big Josh Augusta. Maybe even give it to the big fella.
Missouri 1 of 2 on 4th downs today.
Same formation.
Missouri will use a timeout. Or did they? Why did the officials stop play? They ran in before the quick snap. No timeout taken. Now they'll wind the play clock. The play clock hadn't been started.
That's what it was. Here we go.
Augusta's got it.
Big fella.
And he rolls forward for the 1st down. He might like those honey rolls at California Dreamin'. He just earned one.
I love it when the big fella gets the carry. I'm sure Booger McFarland loves it as well. Give the big fella some love.
And Booger had a catch back in his day, if I'm not mistaken.
Watch him here. He came through so cleanly the play before. Why not give it to him? Nice job. How about that? Head coach feeling it a little bit.
Tigers looking for the first lead of the game. Locke pumps, goes, deep ball. It is underthrown and intercepted. Rashad Fenton with the takeaway.
Demetrius Mason shows his inexperience when this ball is in the air. Bad throw by Drew Lock as a receiver. You got to go bail me out. You got to go help me. Come back, go turn into a defensive back and fight for the football. At worst, go knock it down. Watch the receiver, ISO on him. Now the ball, he takes an outside release. It's thrown inside. Get back in there and make a play. Swat it away. Knock it down. Anything you do, but don't allow the defender to pick it off.
Andre, let me add something to that. It wasn't a great route anyway. Demetrius Mason actually ran out of bounds on that route. Would have been ineligible if they would have caught it anyway.
Inexperience.
Very young Missouri team. Mason just a freshman out of Grayson High School outside of Atlanta. So Missouri with a missed opportunity on the turnover. Rico Dowdle will take it out of the end zone. And he takes it out to the 5-yard line and gains another yard as Cam Hilton drags him down.
Tough running by Rico Dowdle. He can cut on a dime and just drags tacklers, runs through defenders.
Dowdle, first team All-State out of North Carolina's A.C. Reynolds High School up in the mountains of Asheville. Parade All-American there. Went to him early and often. Had a lot of touches in the first quarter. Here's a big one for Dowdle. Bends it back inside, and they get out of the shadows of the goalpost and all the way out to the 24-yard line. A gain of 18.
Well, this is an excellent job of blocking. Looks like Zach Bailey, the left guard, with an excellent block to open it up for Rico Dowdle. Watch the left guard go to work. Pulls around out in front. Seal blocked. A nice kick out by Zach Bailey, and then the rest of it is just on the shoulders of Dowdle.
They've gone to him or tried to go to him 24 out of their 54 offensive plays if you add in the targets in the receiving game and the catches. Here's the tight end. Room for Hayden Hurst, and he spins out to the 30-yard line. Cole.
Love to see Zach Bailey. Andre Ware called it out. Pulling around. Excellent kick-out block. Going to the counter. Haven't seen much of it today. A lot of zone. A lot of inside zone from South Carolina. Those defensive ends from Missouri playing a little bit tight. Go kick out the outside defender. Huge running lane.
Yeah, he was a Mr. Football semifinalist in the state of South Carolina his senior year coming out of high school.
Corner blitz coming from Missouri. Bentley goes down the sideline. Devo Samuel takes another one down.
It's my ball, punk.
It's a gain of 22. Stealing boxes?
Devo just taking balls out of the air in a strong way.
My grandmama gave me that.
Watch this. Just the work at the end of this. Go up, make a play for me. Deebo. Once again.
7 catches, 89 yards for Deebo Samuel, the sophomore from Inman, South Carolina. Here's David Williams trying to stretch.
Take one more look at that grab by Deebo Samuel. This makes my job as a quarterback so much easier. Guys that catch the ball with their hands, away from their body, big catch radius, just put it in the area. And I got a great percentage in terms of being able to catch the football or come down with it.
He's caught everyone that's been thrown to him. Now 2nd and 8 for South Carolina. Following the Fenton interception. Bentley scans again. He'll dump it out of the backfield to David Williams.
You can tell that Jake Bentley studies the game. On film a week ago against Tennessee, they sent a blitz, and he had Dowdle in the flat open, didn't go there and took a sack. There, pressure, quick, the coverage dictates it as well. Take the safety valve, check it down, get him the ball, and let him work in space.
So you're seeing him get better game by game?
I'm seeing him get better game by game.
He's completed 8 consecutive passes, and that's number 9. Wow. Deebo Samuel down the sideline got his toe down.
Say what you want to. Bromance, man crush, whatever it is you want to call it. But this is just flat out good quarterback play and good receiver play on the other end. Look at this. Unbelievable.
Was his right foot down when he hauled in that pass, and left foot certainly wasn't.
Yeah, I got to take a look at this. But the ball was thrown as Samuel.
Going on the field was a catch inbounds. The previous play is under review.
Well before he came out of his break in order for it to get there. And then he drops it right over or between 2 defenders, one high, one low. You see it here just into the space.
I think that's a catch.
I think it's a catch. The right toe was still down once the ball arrived and was in his hands right there. Yep, catch. Right
Andre.
there. Catch.
Allow me to add a line to your love letter to Jake Bentley, and I don't know if you noticed this, but after that play, Jake Bentley was the guy hurrying his team to the line and trying to get the snap off.
Always plugged in.
The field is confirmed.
Always plugged in to what's going on the field. That is a guy that gets it. That's a guy that's going to be special for a long time. Enjoy him for 3 years.
What are you going to get Jake Bentley for Valentine's Day?
No, I'm not going there with you. I'm not going there with you.
Oh, he's been magnificent with the drive on the line. 9 of 9 on 3rd down.
3rd downs, he's perfect. And 2 touchdowns. Toss those in as well.
I haven't heard you rave about something since you tried the she crab soup for the first time. Bentley comes back left. The first miss to Deebo Samuel, just off the left hand, a little bit in front of him.
It's just a growing appreciation for a guy that you know studies the game. And all of this, he should be playing high school football. Graduated his junior year. We talked about it, well documented. But he's trying to get his team because he knows it's close. With Samuel, did he get a toe down or not? But he's trying to run the play.
You don't have to love quarterback play to appreciate what he brings to the table. I mean, this is an exciting brand of football.
Sit down in the film room with me a little while, and I'll show you why.
Rico Dowdle spins. Touchdown, Carolina.
Nice job here getting the flow, little inside zone. Get everybody flowing left. He cuts back right, puts that left foot in the ground, and then it's just vertically up the field. And he is one-on-one with a secondary again.
A 98-yard drive for South Carolina that started after the Fenton interception. Elliott Fry remains perfect on point after this season. South Carolina has its 4th lead of the game. Can Mizzou answer?
SEC Network Football is brought to you by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Push button, get mortgage.
Saturday evening in Columbia, South Carolina. Talking with Barry Odom on the field before the game. He was looking around. He said, you know, I've never been here before. What's it like? I said, just wait.
Yeah, it'll get a little crazy. I tell you what, he was talking about it as well. I don't even know if I want to go there because I know exactly what you're going to say, that I jinxed us, but I'll go there anyway. Weather was perfect at kickoff. He's perfect. And he talked about it in November, and then I go down and talk to Will Muschamp. He's talking about the same thing.
We've been lucky.
Yes, we have.
Blizzard coming, I'm guessing. Unless they send us to a bowl game in Hawaii or the Bahamas. Alex Ross with good field position for Missouri takes it out to the 28-yard line. Both teams had been doing a good job of taking care of the football, but Missouri's second turnover led to another go-ahead score for South Carolina. 2 touchdowns off of a pair of Missouri miscues.
Yeah, you had the Mason fumble that led to a touchdown early in the game, and then there, the previous drive for Missouri, an interception by Drew Lock, or from Drew Lock, led to the Dowdle touchdown run. Half of South Carolina's points coming from turnovers.
Ish Witter for Missouri picks up 5. DJ Smith with the stop. Well, Missouri's run game has been really impressive today. Witter and Crockett both have touchdowns on the ground. 131 yards on the ground for Mizzou. Trying to set up the screen. Moore couldn't get his hands on it. His knee would have been down anyway. So it's actually good that he dropped it. It would have been a loss of yardage with that knee down. You know, I wonder if Drew Lock's getting a little bit winded, Andre. He came out from the huddle that time. You could kind of see in his face. His throws a little bit off target.
Getting a little tight, too. All of a sudden, he's playing from behind. He's been there most of the day, but, you know, it's getting later in the game. And as a quarterback, you can't help it sometimes, but looking up at that clock, you just realize there's still plenty of time, but it's getting late in this game.
It's also getting loud. Blitz coming. Mizzou picks it up. And wrong page. Jamon Moore running straight down the field. Drew Lock expected him to come back.
Yeah, he's expecting a hitch. Jamon Moore is expecting, you see, he's talking about the difference in cushion from the corner to the receiver. He's expecting him to sit down based on the look that Jamon Moore got at pre-snap.
And it seems like he was expecting that because Drew Lock may have misread the signal coming from the sideline. What a punt. Corey Fatone able to get a great bounce. Deebo Samuel did not return it. We got a flag on the play, though, on Missouri, which is going to give South Carolina some yardage after that 57-yard punt. Anthony Sherrills got caught up with some South Carolina players, and it looked like Mizzou had flipped the field. We might have an unsportsmanlike here on Sherrills.
And Sherrills has been a solid special teams player most of the season. He was a starter earlier in the year and then had to fight his way back into the lineup.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 22, the kicking team, his first of the game. Number 7, receiving team, his first of the game. Those fouls offset and the penalties canceled.
That was with
the new
Jamarcus
series,
King.
First down.
So Missouri catches a break. We'll try to find it on video where that happened and what exactly happened between the two. It would be costly because another unsportsmanlike for either one, they'd be ejected. Going back to the punt and the matching unsportsmanlike penalties against Missouri and South Carolina. Draw your eyes to the 30-yard line, kind of right side of your screen near the South Carolina bench.
Yeah, a little featherweight bout going on. Not much to it, but 2 guys just did a little bit of extra. And the officials saw it, just kind of smooth things over to make sure they get the attention of both players.
So South Carolina backed up. That was not a challenge for them last possession. They drove 98 yards for the go-ahead score. They did it by turning to Rico Dowdle at the outset of the drive. Dowdle back there here. Play action to him. They pull it back. They hit Deebo Samuel, and Samuel makes 2 men miss, and he carries it for 11 and a first down. You might want to CC Deebo Samuel on those emails you're sending to Jake Bentley.
Yep, he is playing hurt right now.
Playing with a high voice right now. I'd have a date with a medical tent. So instead, they go to Brian Edwards. And Edwards dragged down by Beisel, gain of 6. You all right? You still with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. I had to mute myself for a little while, but I'm with you.
Cole, you with us?
I am, guys. We're going to talk about trips to the field, a formation that Andre and I have seen from Kurt Roper often. Saw it again on that last play. Andre, what's the advantage that an offense gets with trips to the field?
Well, talking to Kurt Roper, he says that he basically can it allows him to put pressure on the defense formationally, and that's why he's in it a lot. Then you can isolate as well. The pressure comes because you have to rotate to the trips with coverage, and you get a lot of one-on-one situations to the backside.
Here's Rico Dowdle. What changed that South Carolina saw from Missouri that may be affecting South Carolina in the 3-by-1 sets is more Tampa 2, more 2 safeties as opposed to 1.
Because if you try to play it with a balanced defensive look, now you're outnumbered to the trip side of the field. If you move coverage and rotate it over, now I got Deebo Samuel or Brian Edwards backside one-on-one, and with a guy like Jake Bentley who can scan the field, there's Deebo Samuel back in the game. He can scan the field and find those open matchups. Even in zone coverage, you can still work the one-on-one because essentially that's what it becomes down here or down at the bottom when you have a guy like Deebo Samuel.
And he's won those 50-50 balls with Gibson. Pressure on Bentley, trying to escape. Somehow he gets out of there, and he's finally dragged down for a sack. He'll lose 4 yards, but it looked like he was going to escape before Brandon Lee, the sophomore from Indianapolis, caught up with him.
Just ran out of time. Once you escape, pull it up, throw it out of bounds. Get outside the tackle box and let it go. And he's been pretty good about that.
This series has seen some fantastic finishes since Missouri joined the SEC, and it seems like we're on pace for another one. Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, set to take us to the 4th quarter between the Tigers and Cox. With South Carolina, and there was a run of back-to-back games that came down to the very end. We'll show you those in just a moment. South Carolina to punt it away as we start the 4th quarter. Sean Kelly, 5th-year senior. Kelly able to run into that one. Taken at the 33 by Chris Black. Black changing direction, and he gets taken down on a great open field tackle by Moody. Well, we can take you back to 2013. Faurot Field, Columbia, Missouri. Connor Shaw came off the bench to throw 3 touchdowns. In a game that came down to wire, Andrew Baggett missed a chip shot field goal in the 2nd overtime. Columbia cut to Carolina then here, under Steve Spurrier's watch, South Carolina coughed up a late lead. Missouri rallied from 20-7 down with less than 8 minutes to go. Russell Hansborough, Matty Mock, and Evan Boehm and company pulled off the victory. Remember, Spurrier later that year goes, looked up, saw we had 20, thought, how come we never went for 2? That might come back and bite us. It did.
It surely did.
They fake the end around. Locke gets out of trouble and will take it past the 40-yard line before T.J. Holloman comes up with a stop and a gain of 5. We're playing with fire there.
Yeah, Jamon Moore came open a 2nd time. He was open earlier in the game. Watch him. Keep your eyes on him. All that play action. He's just kind of lulling his guy to sleep, and now you give him a head start wide open. But you got Drew Lock running around back there scrambling because of leaked pressure.
On 2nd and 5, 1st down run, Demarius Crockett into Carolina territory before Moody brings him down. 9th tackle of the game for Moody to lead Carolina, gain of 14.
And I make that point about Jamon Moore because going all the way back to the interception that Drew Lock threw with the intention of throwing it to Mason, Moore was wide open on the other side of the field.
Unbalanced again, big gain again behind that unbalanced line, and Paul Adams on the left side, gain of 12. Back to what you were talking about.
Yeah, here's the point. He's throwing right. He looks right. Jamon Moore right here, double move, had King beat, looking for the football. It goes, it's an interception rather than a touchdown if you're able to scan the field. Sometimes I'm convinced of it when I watch video. Drew Lock reads one side of the field and one side of the field only.
But we're seeing different effort from the receivers on the offside from
No
Missouri
doubt
these
about
days.
it. No doubt about it.
Play clock is already at 5. Locke trying to set up the screen. Wow, what a play by Rashad Fenton. He went right around the would-be block and able to blow it up. It's a loss of 3.
Yeah, had the big-time interception in the third quarter, and then there plays the screen about as well as you possibly can. I mean, you talk about playing through a block. That's just want to right there. That's just pure effort.
Fenton already has a pick that led to a South Carolina score. 2nd and 13. Screen up the middle. Kendall Blanton able to bounce off the first guy and pick up 8. That will leave 3rd and about 5. Uric Jones with the stop.
Yeah, when you have a play for negative yards, you're just trying to get something positive to put you in 3rd down and manageable. And they did well beyond that with a screen pass to Blanton right in the middle. Allow the pressure to come to you, set the screen up. This is right in the wheelhouse for Drew Lock to convert this for a 1st down. And then I think even if you don't, if you're Barry Odom, you might think about going for it on 4th down here. So you need something positive on 3rd down.
Lock looks right there, and it's batted away at the line of scrimmage by South Carolina.
Well, it was open.
Marquavius Lewis and Taylor Stallworth right there.
It was open. The offensive line, when you know it's a quick game, and Cole can attest to this one, you've got to get the hands of defenders down. They're trying to chop them down and they miss, but you got to make sure you get them down. Taylor Stallworth able to tip that ball away and turn away Missouri.
44-yard attempts for Tucker McCann. No, pardon me, that's Turner Adams at a Springfield Kickapoo to attempt this long kick, and it is outside the left upright. Both kickers have missed. And this one just fades left with the laces right. Still a 1-touchdown game. We take it back to the 3rd down play, and Taylor Stallworth knocking down the pass out of the hands of Drew Lock. Cole, walk us through this. What's the easiest and quickest way as an offensive lineman to get a defensive lineman's hands down?
Well, put your face mask between their legs, Tom, or right in their belly. One or the other. You got to get a defensive lineman to put his hands down on you. You can't just fall on your belly. A lot of O-linemen go into the rhino technique where they dive and then jack their head backwards into that defensive lineman.
Rico Dowdle down the numbers. And he's pulled down from behind by Anthony Sherrills, a run of 23.
And Sherrills is lucky that the officials didn't get him for a horse collar. He grabbed, Dowdle went down, and then he put his hands up like, hey, I didn't do anything. Well, a nice block by Zach Bailey. They pull him out in front again. Big fella pulling at 6'6", 315, leading the way for Rico Dowdle.
Dowdle's over the century mark, 20 carries, 107 yards. They fake the jet sweep, right back to Dowdle. Cam Hilton was a step late getting there, and Dowdle rips off another 1st down.
Boy, same exact play pretty much. Zach Bailey, the left guard, pulling around out in front to lead Rico Dowdle. He's going to kick out. Watch the block right here. Just come right around and a nice kick out. Look at the big fella moving bodies. That's Joey Burkett, the middle linebacker he's kicking out on.
Missouri brings a corner blitz. Dowdle runs past everybody. Taken down at the Palmetto for a gain of 14. Cole?
Nice mix of runs here by South Carolina. Andre just mentioned the 2 power plays with Bailey pulling around, trading paint with linebackers. Love going back to the zone play there now, cutting backside quickly because you have those linebackers flowing to stop the power. They've seen pulling offensive linemen on multiple plays. Now hit that inside zone and quickly cut it back.
Pretty to watch.
Missouri loading up the box now as South Carolina has turned to the run. David Williams in the backfield as Dowdle rests for a spell. 147 yards on the ground, already 34 better than their average. Bentley keeps it. And Bentley dragged down by Charles Harris. Gain of 7.
I just don't know if I would be drag racing my Bentley. Those are luxury riding cars. I got Rico Dowdle to drag race with. You know what I'm saying? Keep him upright, keep him protected, and let Rico Dowdle do the dirty work.
2nd and 3. Missouri's inability to stop the run in the second half, eerily similar to what they did last week against Kentucky. Some movement up front, no flags. Williams cut down right near the line to gain. Josh Augusta tripped him up, and that'll be a first down for South Carolina.
And here's a reminder to South Carolina fans. Jake Bentley, true freshman. Rico Dowdle, true freshman. Brian Edwards, true freshman. Deebo Samuel, sophomore. Hayden Hurst, sophomore. You got 4 offensive linemen coming back. This team will be loaded next season.
And the East is going to be wide open, by the way. Heck, it's wide open right now. Williams, Dowdle hesitated, then able to surge forward. Harris caught up to him after he gained 7. South Carolina hasn't led by more than a touchdown this entire game. This youth movement trying to get the Cox to a bowl.
Yeah, you got a guy like Jake Bentley talking with Will Muschamp. Kids want to come play with him. They want to come catch the football with the next best thing that's going to happen in the SEC. Well, you're looking at in jersey number 4.
Dowdle bottled up initially. Hey, we were both down on the field before the game at separate times. Did you notice the crowd down on the field? Did you see all the recruits? I mean, did you notice the interest level?
We've been here 2 times in what, a 3-week period, and both times we've been here, the sidelines were loaded with recruits. Loaded with recruits.
Will Muschamp making a difference already here at South Carolina.
So they're calling him trying to visit.
7 consecutive runs on this drive, maybe another on this Wildcat on 3rd and 1. And Dowdle gets stood up and thrown down behind the line of scrimmage. Josh Augusta, Cam Hilton, Charles Harris, and Eric Beisel in on the play for the Missouri Tigers. Beisel is the most productive defensive player on the field today. He's got 15 tackles.
Will Muschamp's going to elect to take the points. Crowd wants him to go for it. I'm not sure I wouldn't go for it as well.
Well, this would put him up 2 scores.
It's the right thing to do, but when you have momentum, ride it.
Elliott Fry has missed 1 field goal today. He hasn't missed inside 30 yards in his entire career. Chip shot for him, and it is good. And so Elliott Fry, the all-time leading scorer in South Carolina history, able to add to this Carolina lead, up by 10. South Carolina, should they pull it off, would have them 1 win away from bowl eligibility in Will Muschamp's first year. They lead by 10 midway through the 4th quarter thanks to a fantastic ground game. Rico Dowdle has a pair of touchdowns. And look at the young guns Andre Ware. These guys getting it done already.
2 true freshmen and a sophomore in Deebo Samuel. Boy, that's some production right there.
No return for Missouri. So here's what's next for South Carolina. They'll go to the Swamp next week. Game time and network still to be determined, but Florida is getting beat by 21 in Fayetteville right now. The SEC East could be in a tumble by the time we're done today. South Carolina trying to play catch-up. Cole, did you say there is a scenario for a big mess of a tie in the East that could possibly send South Carolina to Atlanta?
There are a lot of things that need to happen, but it is mathematically possible for the Gamecocks on, I believe, number 4 or 5 down the tiebreaker list to qualify to play in Atlanta as the SEC East champion.
We would need a 4-way tie for that to happen, right?
Correct.
Oh, man. It's like the season's just getting started. Locke hits his man on a slant. And Floyd carries guys with him all the way down inside the 40. Missouri says we're not done yet.
It's the exact play they tried to go to on 3rd down when the ball was batted away. by Taylor Stallworth. Just a simple slant route, and they were able to complete it there.
37-yard pitch and catch between Locke and Floyd. And now to do the air again, tipped again. It's the second time South Carolina's been able to bat one away. Taylor Stallworth.
Other side of the formation. There's the slant, gets inside position. 37-yard gain. They try to come back to it again, and guess who? Taylor Stallworth on the other side, knocking it away.
Missouri trying to set up a trick play. Double pass perhaps. South Carolina all over it. Eric Laurent gets thrown for a loss. Backwards, the wrong way, 10 yards towards Charleston, and that's not where Missouri was wanting to go. Darius English blew it up.
Eric Laurent, the receiver, you're going to see him go backwards. He's waiting. At this point, it's taken too long. The ball's got to go out. Just throw it out of bounds or throw it to Sean Culkin, who's right in front of you. Actually, has turned blocker.
Wow, Missouri trying to get a little creative. Now they're left with 3rd and 20. Deep ball. Caught. First down. Chris Black, flag on the play.
Yeah, maybe a targeting here.
And Chris Moody may be done. 33-yard strike.
You already have Chris Lamons out with a targeting penalty. Now they're dropped the flag on Moody for essentially the same thing here.
Personal foul, targeting, defense, number 6. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. The play is under review.
Well, for homecoming, we've seen Gamecocks players going home. This would be the second ejection of the day from the South Carolina defense.
Yeah, Chris Black, the Alabama transfer, graduate transfer.
What he got on the call? They get him in the shoulder.
It's tough. I can't tell if he got the face mask. He's trying to pull up, but we know earlier that means nothing. I got to believe if the other call stood, this one will stand.
Oh, no, you know, I looked at that last angle. I look back, and it's almost like Moody got him in the chest plate of the shoulder pad versus above it. It would be costly. Lamons has already been ejected for targeting.
This one would roll over into the first half of next week if it stands.
Yeah, there's no crown of the helmet. There's no above the shoulders or head and neck area. That should be overturned. Ten tackles today for Moody, leading the South Carolina team.
Moody playing with a soft cast, you see there.
After further review, there is no foul for targeting.
33-yard strike to Black. Moody will stay in the game. Tigers down 2 scores, playing with a great sense of urgency on this drive. 5th play of the drive. They've already covered 60 yards on a couple of big strikes from Locke.
About that play, though, the 3rd and 20, and he throws a strike to Chris Black to pick up the first down.
On 1st and 10, Demarie Crockett is able to take it to the 11.
It looked like a face mask in there. Crockett may have gotten grabbed by the face mask, pulled backwards. It's close. See him in there. It's right up around the shoulder pad. That's his strength. He's turned it so quickly it looked like a face mask because his whole head turned around.
Nearly 400 yards of offense for this Missouri team that had 629 yards in a loss to Middle Tennessee State.
Where is Jamon Moore?
Bottom of your screen. Locke gives it up to Crockett, loses his footing, and T.J. Holloman a big reason why. Depleted him for a loss of 3.
Yeah, you knew at some point T.J. Holloman's going to show up and make a play for you. He's the the glue. He's the heart and soul of the defense, one of the captains. Nice play there.
Tom, they've been bringing that backside blitz away from the running back to just play that cutback against his own read all night long. 4 and 11 have been the primary blitzers in that look.
Lock, fade route, end zone, incomplete. Trying to find Kendall Blanton. Blanton went into the hedges in the railing. That's going to leave 4th and 9. Missouri bring on the kicking team.
Trying to play jump ball situation with a 6'6" Blanton. Right here, go make a play for me. Just about does it with one hand. Almost took an ugly spill into that barrier back there.
31-yard attempt. They go back to Tucker McCann after Adams missed on the last attempt for Mizzou. That was a deeper one from the right hash. Wide right, never had it. 2 missed field goals in the 4th quarter for Barry Odom's Tigers.
Well, when you don't have field goal kickers, it certainly changes the way you start to call plays going forward, because you can't depend on guys to make simple field goals for you.
Missouri's tried 2 kickers today. They've both missed field goals in a 10-point game. We roll on from Columbia after this. Missouri. 4:49 to go in the 4th quarter after the missed field goal, the second of the night for the Tigers. Ball's back into Carolina's hands, and freshman quarterback Jake Bentley trying to go to 3-0 in his very young career. Deebo Samuel can't quite find the edge. He's able to pick up 1 before he's brought down by Brandon Lee.
So many different ways. With a quarterback in place, there were always playmakers in this offense, but now they have a guy to actually operate and get the ball to the playmakers, distribute it. That's when you become dangerous offensively.
2nd down 9. Carolina using some clock here. And then they go back to using Rico, Uncle Rico, straight up for 7.
Tom, following up on that point by Andre, I think it goes back, and this South Carolina team's been a perfect example this year, how critical balance is in football, and if you want to smush it down a little bit more, in offensive football. If you're not balanced, these D coordinators and these defensive players in this league are just too good. They'll find a way to take away the one thing that you're successful with, and they'll slow you down. You cannot be one-dimensional anymore.
And I'm all for smushing. Jacob August and Hayden Hurst will flop the formation and move left on a 3rd and 2. Maybe, maybe not.
Just short of the 1st down mark. Just short of it. And Barry Odom going to take a timeout.
They'll stop the clock with 3:14 to go.
Well, this offensive line so physical. You can hear the pads popping way up here in the press box.
Well, that was a big tackle by Brandon Lee. Keeps Missouri in the game as South Carolina will be looking at a 4th and short, likely to punt it away when we return to Willie B.
Real
movement up front. That'll back it up and make it a 4th and 6. And a little bit more room for the returner, Chris Black.
Start. Offense number 4. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
If I'm Missouri, I would come after Sean Kelly. He's got a 3-step and then kick it.
Yeah, he ran into his last one.
I mean, yeah, I would actually come after this if I'm Missouri.
Barry Odom works specifically with the punt return team for the Tigers.
Watch how his routine to kick it. Usually it's 2 steps and it's gone. With him, it's 3.
They don't come after this. Trying to set up a return. It is a beautiful punt with magnificent hang time, and Black has to take a fair catch, driven back to the 22-yard line, a 53-yarder for Sean Kelly. This series has been defined by mistakes. Remember, Missouri missed a chip shot field goal a couple years ago by Baggett in double overtime, and 2 missed field goals today, leaving 6 points off the board for the Tigers. We got a flag, and it's going to be holding against Missouri on that punt return. There was no return. It was a fair catch. So that's going to cost the Tigers some yardage.
As if it weren't tough already with 3:09 left with 2 timeouts. We go at warp speed. We need to score in a hurry.
Drew Lock's thrown for 243 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 costly pick. South Carolina drops 8. Lock has nowhere to go. On the run, tries to fit it in and nearly picked off by King. He breaks up the pass intended for J'Mon Moore.
See, this is the point I try to make when I say Drew Lock reads one side of the field. Watch his face mask. It never leaves the left side of the formation. Never goes back right. Never scans left to right. Becomes easy for a defensive coordinator to start to defend against that. When you know that once his head turns and he commits to a side of the field, you don't have to worry about what's going on to the left or right of him after he commits. That makes it easy. You can jump routes that way as well.
Here's Witter again, 2nd consecutive carry, and he picks up a 1st down on a gain of 3. Who's at the biggest advantage there? Linebackers, safeties, corners?
All secondary players certainly, and then once you see him commit, because you're looking in, if it's zone.
The zone again, they drop 8 again. Lock fires outside the numbers, and a leaping grab made just shy of the marker by Demetrius Mason, and he turns inside instead of outside, which would have stopped the clock. Gain of 7.
Still just a young player trying to find his way. Inexperience in that situation.
Prevent defense again for Carolina. They almost get to Lock. They eventually do, and he gets taken down after a gain of 1 trying to scramble. Uric Jones will shoot the arrow. He and Taylor Stallworth came up with a play.
Stallworth has been all over the place tonight.
Timeout.
Couple of passes defended.
Second timeout of the half.
Knocked down.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
So it's a 10-point deficit for Barry Odom's team with under 2 minutes to go. You know, this is a head coach in a program that was just getting hammered everywhere, but a team that got outplayed last week by Kentucky. They lost to Middle Tennessee State, a team they shouldn't lose to. But what has his team shown you today?
Well, just a fight. I mean, there's some fight left in the football team because there's a lot of games, a lot of time remaining in the season, and they finally came out and decided to play tonight, put up a fight against with South Carolina.
Unless they can pull this out, Missouri's not going to a bowl. It'd be really tough for them anyway. They'd have to win all of their remaining games. But South Carolina, on the other hand, is right there, and we are seeing drastic improvement in just 2 weeks.
You see it each and every week. You turn the video on, you see the improvement each and every week. I think every week Kurt Roper is giving Jake Bentley a little bit more on his plate in which to digest in the offensive playbook. And you start seeing things that from last week you didn't see, or you're seeing this week that you didn't see last week.
430 yards of offense today for a team that was only scoring 14 points a game before Bentley took over. 3rd and 1. Lock pulls it back, wants a deep ball, and he turns to Demetrius Mason for a 1st down. They'll stop the forward progress and the clock with 1:48 to go, gain of 19.
You need a big play. Something down the field to get a big chunk play.
Lock fires incomplete over the head of Mason. 1:41 to go. Missouri needs 2 scores, only 1 timeout remaining. They have missed 2 field goals. I don't even know where they would need to go to get in field goal range here. You got to be thinking touchdown regardless.
I'm thinking it's 4 downs all the way to the end zone. You're going to get an offsides here. But you use all 4 downs. I think the kicker is certainly he's out of play right now.
Defense number 94. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
But if you had a reliable kicker, most teams in this scenario,
you would take the field goal.
Yeah, because you're going to need a field goal.
You take the field goal, and then you'd onside kick and try to recover, and then now all of a sudden you could tie it up by going down and scoring a touchdown. But
they probably need at least 15 yards to get in field goal range anyway. 2nd and 5 now. Locke turns all the way around, and he gets dragged down. Wow, brute strength of Keir Thomas to throw Locke to the turf.
Another true freshman. Very quick inside player for Will Muschamp. But that goes to show that youth movement they have going on at South Carolina. He's very much right in the middle of it.
3rd sack for Carolina. Locke on 3rd down. Fires. Complete to Mason. 1st down. Clock stopped.
It's really amazing to me to watch Missouri's offense and Drew Lock operate, and just how he just stays to one side. Once he turns there, it's not a scan. It's not a work your way to that side. It is flip your hips there and stay.
10th play of the drive. Locke looking left. Flush left. And that one is incomplete, trying to get it down the sideline to Jamon Moore. 1:05 to go.
Whoa. Like the left one had a chance, but it was a pretty good call by the official.
Missouri could use a replay here. Gift them a timeout. They don't stop the play. Locke over the middle. Incomplete. Dangerous play. TJ Holloman knocks it down.
2 interceptions on the season. Really good ball skills when you throw it in his area and they're in zone coverage.
3rd down 10. Great coverage. Sideline route again. Caught. 1st down Missouri. Demetrius Mason.
And gets himself out of bounds, which will stop the clock. South Carolina's okay with this approach. They give you some, take the underneath stuff, work your way down the field, burn some clock.
Locke stares right. Will roll that way. And chucks it. The flag down. In the vicinity of Missouri's right tackle.
Holding offense for 56. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
That's big Samson Bailey, the center. Dinged up the last couple of weeks. At this point, I don't know that anybody's 100%. Right there at the end of it, you see him hold.
Time the biggest opponent now. 47 ticks remain. Long throw, out route Jamon Moore, and he steps out of bounds. And that's going to leave 2nd and 11 with 41 seconds remaining.
Nice shell coverage. You see it back here. Call that 4 cross. Corners will bail. Safeties will get deep. They'll give you all the underneath stuff. And just come up and make tackles.
The victor go the spoils, the Mayor's Cup. Third down. Locke has room to scramble. He'll throw back across his body, and it is intercepted. Flags down, picked off by Chris Moody. Let's wait and see what the Hankies are for.
What have I told you about going over the middle late?
Don't do it.
Holding on the offense number 76. Penalty is declined. Result of the play is a touchback. First down.
Couple of key takeaways for the South Carolina defense, including the pick by Moody, second of the night for Locke, and South Carolina will pick up its 5th win of the season.
And you see the hold on Tyler Howell, but then right here, nothing happens good over the middle late. Late, trying to go back inside across your body. Not an accurate throw. And Moody with his first pick of the year.
Missouri, 3 fourth-quarter trips inside the South Carolina 30-yard line. No points to show for it. Victory formation for the 3rd game for Jake Bentley. Tonight's Quicken Loans player of the game, the freshman quarterback, 22 of 28, career high 254 and a couple of scores. South Carolina now 5-4, 3 games remaining. They're 1 win away from returning to the postseason. Don't forget Georgia and Kentucky tonight in a huge game in the East. Brent, Jesse, and Kaylee are in Lexington. I know because Jesse keeps taking selfies and sending them out on social media. He'll have to call a game in just a few moments. Barry Odom and Will Muschamp meet at midfield, where the Gamecocks have now earned win number 5 behind their freshman quarterback. Take you to the studio. We'll be right back here in Columbia in just a moment. Dari, Booger, and Chris trying to recap this crazy day.